Welcome back. In this video, we will discuss another novel by George Eliot, The Mill on the Floss. The Mill on the Floss is a novel by George Eliot, published in the year 1860. It is one of her most widely read books. In this novel, Eliot draws upon her own experiences with her own beloved but rigid and controlling brother to depict the relationship between Maggie and her brother Tom. So, before discussing the plot of the novel, let us go through the character introductions. So, Tom and Maggie, these two are the protagonists of the novel. They both are siblings, and Mr. Tulliver is the father of Tom and Maggie. And Philip Wacken is a deformed neighbor, and he is a friend or a companion to Maggie. Lucy Dean is Maggie's cousin, and Stephen Guest is to be husband of Lucy, and Bob Jackins is Maggie's childhood friend. So, with this brief introductions of the characters, now let us discuss the summary of the novel. So, as the novel opens, we are introduced to our two main characters, Tom and Maggie. So, these two are the children of an honest but ignorant and obstinate Mr. Tulliver, the miller of Dorcote Mill on the Floss. Tom is a prosaic young man, narrow of imagination and intellect, and he likes to control others. But Maggie, in contrast, is highly intelligent, emotional, and as a child, rebellious. From this conflict of temperaments between the two, and Maggie's frustrated sense of purpose, much of her unhappiness and ultimate tragedy originates. Her deep love for her brother is thwarted by his lack of understanding, and she turns toward Philip Wacken. Philip Wacken is a deformed son of a neighboring lawyer. Maggie turns towards Philip Wacken for intellectual and emotional companionship. But Maggie's father, Mr. Tulliver, has a deep dislike for the lawyer, Mr. Wacken, and he goes on to hate Mr. Wacken and his family for making him bankrupt, as Mr. Wacken was fighting against Tulliver in a court case. Tom finds out about the friendship of Maggie and Philip, and as being loyal to his father, he forbids their meetings. After her father's death, Maggie leaves the mill for a visit at St. Ox to meet her cousin Lucy Dean. Lucy Dean is to marry the handsome and agreeable Stephen Guest. But after seeing Maggie, Stephen is attracted towards Maggie, and Maggie too is attracted towards Stephen. So, in a boat expedition on the river leads Stephen to propose Maggie for marriage, but Maggie refuses to marry him. After knowing about their uninformed exit from the mill, her brother Tom throws Maggie and her mother out of the house. Maggie and her mother take refuge with a loyal friend of her childhood, the packman Bob Jackins. And in this situation, only Lucy, Philip, and the clergyman Dr. Ken show sympathy towards Maggie. In the last chapter, a flood descends upon the town, and Maggie, leaving everything aside, her first thought is of her brother's safety. She courageously rescues her brother from the mill. Both of them get very emotional on the boat, and there is a moment of recognition and reconciliation before the boat overturns, and both of them are drowned together. So, with this, the novel comes to an end. And before concluding, I must tell you that the character of Maggie Tulliver is partially based on Eliot's own life, and the character of Tom is based on Eliot's brother Isaac. So, in the next video, we will cover another novel by George Eliot, and thank you for watching.